Hey everybody, I'm Jules, and this is Sobriety Junkie. So we're gonna dive right into ADHD and bipolar one, and how much it fucking sucks dealing with it, sober and an addiction. Because either way, we're gonna try to we're gonna try to numb it and mask it, no matter what. So recently, I had a issue where I had an episode. I think it was about 2 days ago. I had an episode with my ADHD. My ADHD kicked in at the same time as my bipolar depression, and so it all hit me like a brick wall. Like that shit is no joke. It's no fucking joke. It's a scary thing, and if you don't know you have it or you haven't been diagnosed yet, and it hits you, these emotions are like a fucking roller coaster. Like it's hard to control, for one. You have endless thoughts of wanting to kill yourself, no matter what time of day, who you're around, or what you're doing. And on top of that, you feel alone. You feel alone. And the other fucking day, you guys, like, when I say fuck bipolar one, like, I fucking mean it. Like, fuck that shit to its grave. But dealing with bipolar one recently it was intense. I was fine. I woke up, got ready for work, and then little by little, I felt this depression creeping and creeping and creeping until it finally smacked me across the head and said, "Hey, I'm here. Let's do this." Now, with me and my bipolar one, my depression's severe. It'll come with a severe depression. Then it hits me with a lot of anger and a lot of resilience. And I'm not gonna let someone step on me, or if I think someone's trying to step on my toes, it's gonna be hell. No matter who you are, whether you're a friend, a coworker, or someone on the streets that didn't do shit to me, but hey, you're in my crossfire, so you're gonna have to deal with it. Recently, the other day, I was like I said, I was going to work. Everything was fine. I was dealing with a day where I didn't get a lot of sleep for the last couple of days because I'm dealing with some health issues. And some shit that's scaring me. So it's causing my bipolar to react a little more severe than it usually should, because there is life-threatening things on the line for me, and it's scaring the fuck out of me. Of course, who wouldn't be scared of dying, right? So my depression is in a state where it was uncontrollable, and I could not grasp it, or even find the tools that I've built for the last 3 years to grasp what I need to do to stay sober and not lose my mind and gain back control. But sometimes we can't. Sometimes that's the most difficult thing to do when you have no control. Now, mind you, in my addiction, yeah, I had control of it because I was getting high. My substance of choice were a substance of choice because they numbed or they froze that issue for one moment, or just like for a day. Like, if just to feel normal for a day, you guys, was fucking insane. But it took taking a risk. It took me putting my life on the line with substance abuse. Starting from alcohol at the age of 12 because my depression was fucking intense. When I say intense, dude, like my fucking depression at 10, I wanted to kill myself, you guys. So at the age of 12, I was starting to rebel, and I was starting to do things that a normal preteen doesn't do. Little by little, I started ditching, started wearing all black, cutting my hair into mohawks, you name it. You name it, I did it, and it was a self-destructing lifestyle where I knew I was headed to, because I was already doing things when I was younger that kids my age weren't even thinking of doing. So I started to dabble a little bit in alcohol, and boy, the way that alcohol numbed my thoughts and feelings, and even with the physical abuse that I dealt with as a child, that was my go-to safety net. That was my run to. I feel safe around it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm sorry, but hey, at least it's making me happy and forget what I'm going through. Well, you guys, that shit did not fucking work for long because I soon developed a tolerance with it. So I moved to cocaine. Spent thousands of dollars on cocaine. Destroyed my sinuses with cocaine. Deviated septums to just numb a little bit of depression. A little bit of anxiety or anger or frustration. You know, like something that was out of my control because of this fucking problem. The cocaine didn't work, you guys. So I started taking Xanax. Developed a just tiny bit of a little bit of a, cancer. So then they put me on pain pills and pain management and medications to control my suicidal rage thoughts because I was dying. So why not kill myself altogether, you know? My bipolar plays a big role in my addiction. And if someone were to tell you that theirs wasn't, that's some fucking bullshit. Our traumas play an issue with our depression and also decides to spark up an interest in each other. But it's what we're doing to learn to cope with these issues that help us later down the road. Like, what are we doing today in order to still stay sober? So what are we going to do today to make sure that we're happy and got it together for just a moment? Because I know if you could put that effort into getting your bag, now putting all that work into staying sober, you could do the same thing for your depression, but it's not easy. We got to work. You guys, for someone that's a normie and doesn't understand what we go through as addicts and what causes us to become an addict, it's out of their reach, and sometimes these videos are made for them to understand the knowledge that they should grasp in order to understand why we are the people we are, or why we become the addicts we become, or the environments we grow up in. I was talking to my wife a moment ago and she says, "Babe, you wear your heart on your sleeve, and I love that about you." I have a soft shell, you guys, but at the same time I'm so off and standoffish because of all the shit that I've been through. So all this depression, when my depression kicks in, I don't get verbal or abusive or none of that, but I shut down, and that's the same equivalent of abuse, like it's a neglect. And I don't mean to, like I don't mean to do stuff like that or want to be alone. This is my bipolar. Some other people have different versions. Some people get antsy or have anxiety. I just get weak and tired and depressed, and I don't feel wanted. As crazy as it sounds, as the lifestyle that I lived and what I've done throughout my life that most people don't do, it's striking and crazy to see how much of depression debilitates me, like it's insane to see how much it crumbles me down, and it makes me into no one, or belittles me, like I belittle myself with this disease. And now learning how to focus on it and take it head on sober, or without a substance that's going to control or alter my mind just for a little while to make sure that I'm not thinking about it again. Yeah, some days a fucking beer sounds good because it will take it away, but then I have to deal with it tomorrow, and it might just be it might just fold over twice just because I didn't deal with it at that moment. Yeah, I can go stick a fucking needle in my arm and get high again and nod off for a couple hours. But when I wake up, I'm going to deal with more consequences of that than dealing with it head on. I got a 1-year-old daughter that's dependent on me. A preteen that's dependent on me because he's growing up with me and has grown up with me and has been there for my addiction, you guys. My son has found me dead. And it's because I didn't take action to control my depression, so I decided to numb it after being sober for so long. This was a while ago, you guys. Wasn't recent, but my son found me overdosing in my grandmother's kitchen while I was making him dinner because I would have done anything for him. If he was hungry, I was going to cook for him, but I was depressed because I wasn't with my son and I wasn't living with him and I was living on the streets. So I started getting high again to numb that pain. But all it showed my son was that it was more important to him to see me sober, but I couldn't do that for him. Instead, I wanted to get high to numb this pain that I'm going through. I get it, sobriety's a program of selfishness, but how far are we going to be selfish until we take selfishness back to addiction and it takes us back over and it decides this time to take us out? Depression's a bitch, yeah. We all know that. But it comes with the reality of life, what we have to deal with. Some of us, sometimes we have to deal with it a little more in depth because it comes at us a little bit more stronger than usual. Others, it's a little easier. And then we have the unfortunates, which some of us have become, or some of us have almost been there. Depression is a big part of people's addiction, and I mean, I'm just telling my story as it goes because I want you guys to understand that some of you may be feeling alone, that your addiction is, you're the only person with that kind of addiction or that kind of a depression. We're right here. I'm sitting right here. All we got to do is just reach out a little bit and ask for a little bit of help. And mind you guys, if I didn't ask or reach out for some help when I was feeling that severe depression kick in, who knows where it would have led? Who knows where my mind was going? Without even the train of thought of thinking that I was thinking that way of killing myself, you know? But depression is that strong, and we'll dive in that deep and we'll attack you that hard. Just don't give in. Like, we can't give in to our fucked up thinking that's eating us alive in order just to make us have an excuse to get high one more time or drunk. Keep going, you guys. This is a fucking roller coaster. But for my first video, this is just going to be it. I'm going to cut it down to that. We're going to dive into addiction. Some of the videos will be fun and laughing, and some will be touching and heartbroken, and we're going to have people interviewed on here, and I'm going to have people jump on videos with me to tell their stories, to see what addiction did to them, so to see where they're at in their life and how it's affected their life down the road. So just stay tapped in, everybody. This is going to be a roller coaster. Like I said, sobriety isn't easy. Addiction was fucking hard, but look where we're at now. So just share away. If you want to tap on in, give me a holler and we'll get there.